On the topic of narcissism, do narcissists actually know that they in fact are narcissists? Do they actually see their faults? I would have to say that narcissistic individuals don't necessarily have a name for their behavior, but ultimately they know that they are pretty much slimy individuals. Okay, there's no narcissist that has not engaged in some form of a strategic tactic to bring an individual down. This is a part of who they are as individuals. This is the reason why they have that specific name of being a narcissist, because they are self-absorbed individuals and they do not care about anyone but themselves. Okay, regardless of what they do to display kindness to others. All of it is just a part of the show. Okay? So with that being said, there are several benefits that narcissists receive in order to put on this facade that they're actually a noble and kind individual. Okay? So with that being said, narcissistic individuals in general, do they actually have this initial thought of attacking an individual from the beginning of the initial encounter with that individual? This is something that I often state that people may be a bit confused as to, do narcissists actually have an agenda from the beginning? Absolutely, you guys. Absolutely. Narcissistic individuals, when they see you, automatically, because of the fact they live in a land of delusion, what they tend to do is they tend to give everyone a script immediately when they meet you. So there's an invisible contract that the narcissist has written up for you to play a specific role in their lives, okay? And if you are an individual who happens to have a form of character, if you are an individual who happens to be of substance, maybe there is a benefit to you actually being in a relationship with a narcissist, where the narcissist sees you as a valuable resource or a valuable person that could possibly be one of their flying monkeys or an enabler, okay? Many people think that oftentimes narcissistic people like to attach themselves to individuals that are absolutely oblivious and absolute idiots. But in fact, narcissistic people like to connect themselves to people who have empathy, and also not just people who have empathy, but people who also have integrity, okay? Because of the fact that the narcissist knows the power of influence, okay? This is what they typically build their lives on, is being influential. And if you are a person who naturally has the power of influence, meaning that there are people who admire you regardless of your stance, regardless of your status, regardless of what you have financially. There are people who can see that you are in fact are a stand-up individual, okay? You're not a perfect individual, because none of us are actually perfect individuals, okay? But the narcissist can ultimately see that there's something about you that draws people into you, and people can see the fact that you are just simply an authentic individual. So what the narcissist wants to do initially, when they see an authentic individual, automatically you are considered as a threat, okay? From the very beginning, you are considered as a threat. See, the narcissist has this ideal as to how they do life, okay? And many of this, this behavior stands from childhood. When we think about narcissistic individuals, and what's quite interesting to me is how psychologists in general don't really study narcissism as much when it's pertaining to children. And I think that it is very important that we begin to look at narcissism in childhood more than we actually focus on it in adulthood, because of the fact that narcissism starts in childhood. And the importance of it is to identify exactly why is the child behaving in these specific ways. Is there something that is going on privately within the home that is, causing this child to have these attributes of selfishness, self-absorbedness, and wanting to bring other children down, different things of that sort. This is why bullying is so prevalent in primary school, okay? So with that being said, narcissistic individuals automatically, when they see you, as soon as you walk through the door, okay, there's something that senses off in a narcissistic individual where they see you automatically. Either you are a friend or a foe, and you're never going to be a friend to a narcissist. Know that. Not that you're not capable of actually being a friend to a narcissist, but a narcissistic individual will never be a friend to you, okay? You are considered as a flying monkey once the narcissist gets you underneath their wing, because ultimately they have to knock you out of the race, meaning that you are considered as competition, regardless of whether you signed up for this invisible war or not. The narcissist is going to see you as competition because of the fact that you are authentic, and that authenticity that you carry within yourself is a direct threat against the facade that the narcissist is painting. Okay, now with that being said, due to the fact that the narcissist sees you as a threat, and you're not aware of this invisible war that you've been enlisted in. Okay, now, depending on how you comply with the narcissist, this is how things are going to go. Now, the thing is about it, when you're an authentic individual, it is very difficult for you to be around an individual who isn't authentic, which means that you are not going to allow the narcissist to control your life. You're just simply not going to do that because of the fact that you are the captain of your life. Okay? Meaning that you're a person who wants to do life the way that you choose to do life, and you have every right to do that because you have free will. See, the thing about narcissists is they don't necessarily want to come off as controlling before they actually, pump things up a bit. They'll come off as being friendly towards you. And sometimes, if you are a person who's more self-sufficient, they do things in a strategic way, a more crafty way to get you to depend on them. Okay, so if you are someone that is self-sufficient, what the narcissist will do is they will create all-out chaos for you to have a point of access to you. Okay, this is what they do. They create chaos in your life to play hero. Okay, so once the narcissist, of course, get that entry where they, see you somewhere over in a corner and you're sobbing and different things of that sort because you're emotional about what it is that you're experiencing. This is when they put on their invisible capes and they slap that ass on their chest and they're off to rescue you. Oh, now I've got them. This is how narcissists feel about it, And if you are a person who has an untrained eye, you won't exactly figure it out that many of the relational dynamics that you guys are involved in were actually strategically set up by the narcissist. That in fact, the narcissist set up the entire mirage to make you think that you were in danger. But in actuality, what's really happening is far more sinister than you guys think. Many of you guys are now currently in relationships. These sick individuals are around your children. Your children are playing with their children. And you guys have built an entire relational dynamic fully inclined and totally oblivious as to the fact that you were bamboozled from the jump with a narcissistic individual. Okay? So, with that being said, narcissistic individuals, when you are a person who is authentic, you are going to be someone that they are going to oppose because of the fact that they want you to be more like them. Okay, meaning that they need to understand you, because authenticity is something that a narcissist doesn't quite understand because of the fact that they're confined to society's standards of what is and what is not. Okay, meaning that they're not going to accept you for who you are, though initially they are going to compliment you on your authenticity. They're going to praise you about that. They're going to tell you, I really like this, what you're wearing. I really like, the way that you do this or the way you do that. Or maybe they won't. Maybe they won't share those things with you. Maybe they'll totally ignore you, to make you feel invisible. There are so many tactics that they use in order to bring you down. See, there's an important aspect to your countenance that the narcissist needs to infiltrate, okay? Meaning that they need to break you down to the lowest form, and break your confidence. This is ultimately what it is. It's about. It's about breaking your spirit, okay? This is the ultimate goal. The ultimate goal is for the narcissist to break your spirit, because their spirit or whatever is, barricaded within that empty vessel that they have is broken down into shambles. Okay? And when you are a person that exudes abundance, as I speak about often with you guys, where you guys aren't wealthy, but all of you guys have a sense, if you are a person that does have empathy is a spirit of abundance. Okay? There is so much that comes from a person who actually has empathy, okay? And much of your abundance, unfortunately, is being transferred over to a narcissistic individual because they're siphoning your energy, okay? So with that being said, the narcissist has laid their eyes onto you, you authentic being. And you are just entering into an environment, you're just being, your authentic self. And the narcissist sees that you're authentic. The narcissist may, be a little bit more crafty of a narcissist because, of course, there is a spectrum to narcissism, you guys. There are covert narcissists, overt narcissists, there are malignant narcissists, there are communal narcissists, there are spiritual narcissists, okay? And with that being said, they all do things differently based on the observation that they have of you. These are the kind of people that like to study you. These are the kind of people that watch you and you have absolutely no idea that they're watching you. Okay? Now, and this is the power of discernment, which is something that narcissists absolutely despise. They despise individuals who have discernment. And this is the reason why they're so frazzled once they feel that they in fact are a narcissist, right? So when they initially see you, what they're going to do is they're going to try to approach you, okay? And then sometimes they may not approach you directly because of the fact that they may feel as if they are more superior than you, okay? Meaning that if you are a person, this is a common thing that happens with healers, you guys. Many of you guys are healers out there, okay? And some of you may not know that you actually have a gift of healing, but you attract narcissists. And many of these individuals are highly unwell, okay? And they come to you and they seek advice. They also seek nourishment. You are taking care of the narcissist. You are doing things to nourish their bodies. You are, just taking care of their mental health when it comes to certain things. Not that narcissism is something that is a mental illness. I personally have done research in reference to narcissism, and narcissism is more of a personality trait than it is a mental illness. Now, I believe that there are some components to mental illnesses that narcissists actually suffer from depression. Maybe they do, have PTSD in some cases. Maybe they have experienced a form of trauma, but narcissism within itself is ultimately, and from my perspective, in my observation, is in fact a personality disorder of a faulty, character trait. That's what I would say. Because I believe that narcissism is actually something that is optional, okay? Many of us have faced a form of trauma throughout our childhood, and we're not all narcissists. So there is not exactly an excuse as to a person deciding to plot, plan, and scheme against another individual and to feel that they're more superior than others. Because if that's the case, then racism also concludes to narcissism as well, right? I digress. So with that being said, when the narcissistic individual lays their eyes on you, their intentions for you is to hand over a script of what they would like you to be in their life. And again, they would like you to be a flying monkey or an enabler. See, there's a major difference between a flying monkey and an enabler. A flying monkey is the one who is definitely down for whatever when it comes to the narcissist. They are down for the dirty work. They are ready to get out in the trenches. They don't mind robbing, stealing. They don't mind doing anything. Listen, they're ready to go to the parties. Everybody's ready to get drunk, get wasted, do everything. Listen, it is time to go. Listen, it's about to go down. Okay? However, enablers are people that are more, they have integrity. They seem foolish to you guys because of the fact that you expect people to know who you are and to judge things correctly. But again, narcissistic individuals are excellent orchestrators. Okay? Through thorough observation, which is, in fact, predatorial. Because if an individual can sit there and they can study you and they can watch aspects about you so in depth, means that this person has been preying on you. And we're not talking preying as in P-R-A-Y. P-R-E-Y. This person has made you a target. Okay? So once a narcissist has this decided to make you their target because they see that you're not really you're not conforming. You know, you do things kind of differently. You're not really trying to fit in with anybody. You're not very sociable, you know, and these are things that you have every right not to do because you know why? You are an individual and you have free will. But the narcissist doesn't respect your free will. A narcissist doesn't care about you having free will. They are boundary pushers. These are the kind of people that are very malicious in nature, and they will do anything to get someone to conform to the way that they see life, regardless of whether you're going to submit willingly or they're going to force you to submit. So, with that being said, when you do not conform to the ways, meaning that you see the way that everybody's doing things and you're totally cool with that. I mean, the way that other people do things, you're not necessarily looking at people or being judgmental towards people. I would hope not. However, you're just doing your thing. You simply just want to do your thing, and that's okay. But the narcissist doesn't like that because if you are doing your thing, that's going to make other people feel inspired, and then they're going to want to do their thing, which is going to confuse the narcissist because the narcissist doesn't really understand empathy, nor do they genuinely connect with individuals. What they want to do is they want the easy way out, okay? The easy way out is for everyone to behave the same. They're absolutely controlling you guys. There is no one in this world that is more controlling than a narcissist. Okay? So when the narcissist sees that you're free-spirited, that you're an individual who can do things on your own, you're not codependent, and that you actually enjoy your freedom, that you are, you know, the kind of person that is easy to talk to, people actually like you, people will actually fall in love with you if they actually truly gotten to know you before the narcissist, of course, has painted a narrative as to who you are as an individual. And some of you guys are isolated due to that. And I personally know how that feels, of course. But eventually, you know, you get to a point where because of the fact that you're so comfortable with yourself and you actually like yourself, okay, which is something that the narcissist doesn't like themselves at all. Okay. And you are someone that you like yourself. So you enjoy spending time alone. You're, you know, introverted. And sometimes, you know, people have a misconception as to introverts where they think that introverts are actually shy. But in actuality, we're not actually shy. We can be vocal when it is necessary. However, we like to preserve ourselves for, you know, relationships that are actually valuable to us. And that's okay, right? So with that being said, the narcissist is going to see the fact that you have these beautiful qualities about yourself, and that is not going to be pretty for the narcissist. That you're authentic and you have these beautiful qualities. So again, you've been enlisted in a silent war, okay? Meaning that a war that nobody else knows about but the narcissist. And then eventually you come to the realization, if you are in an environment, that the narcissist is extremely passive aggressive. The narcissist is, you know, not really a good person. You know, and these are things that you can only see because remember, the narcissist is always going to show their best face to the audience because this is what they do. They're all for the audience. They're all for the show. And they've given you a script and you don't want to play that role. Oh, no. How dare you? Who's going to take your script? The narcissist says, you know what? Okay, since you don't want to play the role that I gave you as a flying monkey or an enabler, then okay, I'm going to give you the worst role possible. And this is when they begin to assassinate your character. Okay? Now, because of the fact that you don't want to play in the script, because again, it goes back to this main character thing that everybody thinks is so, you know, glamorized these days, where people are actually being very narcissistic. This main character thing is narcissism. Okay? Because the world doesn't revolve around any of us, let alone a narcissist, right? We all have our own lives, our own dreams and aspirations in the way that we'd like to do life. And of course, if a narcissist was reasonable, we'd like to do life with them as well, right? But unfortunately, they're not. They want you to do what they desire for you to do. So with that being said, the narcissist is going to see you as an enemy, okay? Because of the fact that everyone who has empathy to a narcissist is considered an enemy. How dare you? You can feel the emotions of people around you. You understand people, and you even understand a narcissist. So with that information right there, once you get an acknowledgement that this person is in fact a narcissist, you begin to move accordingly. And that doesn't make the narcissist feel good, because the narcissist doesn't like the fact that you aren't being open to them, because they know that you in fact don't trust them, and they know that you are onto them. Okay? This is when they freak out, because narcissistic individuals are in fact strategic, and people, oftentimes like to say that narcissistic people are very impulsive, but I would like to disagree with that. I think that narcissists can be impulsive. Of course, when they're having a narcissistic collapse or something's not going their way and it sporadically happens, of course, they're going to be impulsive because they're shocked as to what's happening. Okay? Because they're programmed to get specific reactions. Okay, this is the reason why they employ the same tactics every time they meet someone. There's nothing new that they do. When they're meeting people, they always, particularly use one or two specific tactics that, or even three. They will, flatter you. If you're not a person that's into flattering, they'll bully you. Then they'll sabotage you to be a hero. They do those things. And even when we think about sabotaging when it comes to narcissistic individuals, when they decide to sabotage you, do you know that a narcissist will actually think that they're actually doing it for your greater good? Sabotaging you. They'll say something like, oh, well, I know that I spreaded these rumors and I did this about this person, but I just want them to come to me. I mean, it's for the best. I do have good plans for them. I don't really, I'm not going to do anything to hurt them. I just need them to come to me. That's it. That's all I need. I just want them to be my friend. And these are adults, you guys. We're not talking about children. We're talking about adults who do things like this. Yes. They just want to have a form of control over you. Well, my intentions wasn't bad, but how so? How so? Is that the way that you guys are making friends? And narcissistic people, the way that they make friends are quite odd, you guys. Bullies. I don't know anybody who wants to be friends with an adult bully. Let's not just add the fact that it's absolutely immature for an adult to go around spreading rumors about another adult as if we're still in grade school. The immaturity in that within itself is absolutely barbaric. So that is what the narcissist is going to do ultimately, to get a form of control over you. And if you do not submit, the narcissist will take things even further. This is when they become obsessed because of the fact that you're not submitting to their tactics. They've been using these tactics for years. Okay? They've been using them on you. And many family dynamics as well. When you have family members who just can't let go. They just can't let you go because of the fact that you've always fallen subjective to their tactics. Now they're trying to love bomb you. They're trying to get you to come back after they told everybody that they got rid of you, knowing in actuality that you were the one that left the family dynamic. But it doesn't matter, because you know why? You're free. You don't even care as long as you're free. And narcissists hate when they see a scapegoat running wild and free. When a narcissist sees an individual that is free, it's like seeing a unicorn walking in the middle of traffic, you guys. That's what it looks like. And unicorns, they're not real, of course. But this is how they see you guys. Magnificent, glitter, glorious, fantastic, that you are in the middle of traffic and somebody needs to capture you. Maybe perhaps they'll take you home, or maybe they'll put you in a zoo. Either way, you shouldn't be out free, right? Nobody's thinking to take you out in nature and just to let you just blossom. Not a narcissist, sure as hell is it, right? So, being the fact that you are free, The narcissist wants to have a form of control over you, okay? Because you're not allowed to be free. How dare you? How dare you? Everybody else they're in formation. And you have the nerve to want to do things differently? You're complicating things. Why are you being complicated? This is when they begin to call you complicated. You're argumentative. You just want to be so different. And it's like, no, I just want to be me. I'm not trying to be different. Maybe if you would, stop focusing your attention onto me and trying to hand me this bogus script that you want me to play in your life when I have a life as well. And so does others. We all have lives that we want to live. And just accept the fact that I'm going to be me. But no, a narcissist cannot accept that. And this is the reason why many of you guys have complications in areas of your life where it's pertaining to school, relational dynamics, when you're at your places of employment, at church, wherever there are a group of people, a community, that you're having issues with certain people because of the fact that many of these people are extremely controlling and they are very narcissistic. Okay? So I'm going to end this message here, and I hope that this message has been informative to you guys. I love you. Bye.